is London. Let's go through the details. We have an emergency stream for all of the subscribers and the VIP and, guys, the base campers. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a pour down function ongoing with Doge, with BTC, etc. We'll dig into the details. This is London, former financial professional, not financial advice. Excited to have the VIP with us this evening. If you're not VIP, you are missing out. I want to go ahead and feature what we did yesterday. Look at this in the back. Amidst the red, yes, I notified VIP yesterday that there was a bull flag on Balancier, B-A-L, boom, played to the upside, guys, in a red day. VIP had a trade to the upside. Congratulations to all the VIP that traded. Way to go, guys. I'm very particular on paying attention to our own technical analysis. As you guys know that, I'm very particular about it in terms of those back rooms, etc., because we have the best TA. That's it. I don't know anyone else who hit a 17 to 20% move on a down day. We'll go through the details today, guys. File in. Let me know that you're here. Would appreciate you hitting a like, and for the comments, would appreciate that as well. Let me go ahead and dig into the chat real quickly. Hopefully you guys are having a good, just a good week thus far. The price action of BTC is not exciting. I'll tell you that unless you're short. It's been a difficult drop for BTC. We're going to talk about the details, of course. Want to just shout out to all the VIP. I let them know last night. It's very interesting. I let them know I did a review of over 200 coins. Over 200 coins. What I told them last night before this is that the market is looking interesting. Many coins aren't looking so good. Like, bottom line, I did a full review last night of the market, guys. All the key primary coins, and everything just looked bad. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. It didn't look good, guys. So when you're in the back, guys, for conversational purposes, let me know in terms of what you're reading when I say things don't look good. A lot of coins looking bad, etc. Just let me know in terms of if you have any questions about that. We're going to go through the details. BTC currently had quite a drop. Let's go to the daily so we can measure this out on BTC. We'll talk about pickup targets. We'll talk about the entirety of it today. Doge going down as well. 2 targets. You guys know that. That's a good thing about this group is we are never overexposed. That's the main frame here. You guys hear it here more than any place. I just know that. Never overexposed to any higher price. We're currently in a position where we're failing on the daily. We have opened up a line below that 100 crucial level. You guys know at first it was the 200 needed to hold. It did not yesterday. We capitulated down from that specific triangulation. And all the VIP, hope you're doing well. If you're just streaming in, yeah, I've been bragging about you guys in terms of that the specific bull flag on BAL that I brought you. Defects noted, yes, but set up an alert for that breakout. Bam, that moved to the upside for 17+%. I think 20 overall percentage points to the positive in terms of profit. That's VIP, guys. Yesterday, someone asked, like, how many signals do you give and this and that? Just want to let you know. That's just another example. We're 3 days in a row, bam, 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 with positive signals in the back. So it's not every day. The market doesn't give it to us every day, but nice to see that in terms of that specific move to the upside. Way to go, VIP. Way to go. In terms of this function, I want to go to the weekly real quickly. It's making some people look at the weekly. Going back to this time frame that we would look at this weekly. In terms of the macro opinion here, as we look like we are continuing downward here towards a prior resistance, could it be, right? As we look at that weekly, we looked at this framework front and center. We would have loved to have gone up, guys. I'm not bearish on the market, but as we look at the technicals from the specific weekly, it's just bam. I mean, if you look at that and measure that out on your screen, guys, look at this on the desktop, bam, bam. The weekly governed, okay? It has governed. In terms of my reliance on it, it's great to get more aggressive on the lower time frames. You guys know that, but the weekly has literally, if you just pull up that amplitude move up BTC here, bam, park it. Look at this, boom. That's really what we're looking at right here. Is just kind of a governance of the weekly chart in terms of the specific pickup. Will this be the pickup? I'm going to tell you guys, there's a lot of orders waiting right here as we look at the lower time frames. Let's dig into. Let's dig into the. BTC off 0.67%. I wanted to go to the daily just to look at the drop yesterday, just to look at the entirety of things as it appeared to us in terms of the candle work. Let's look at this, about a 5.22% drop. Is that what we dropped yesterday? Let's just zoom into this. You know, your candles will always tell you the entirety of the price action. Okay, the bodies of the candle. Yeah, 5.14% to the downside. And we were hoping to get a pickup along this specific, if we go to the 4 hourly, you guys know, we were looking for a pickup, right? We were looking for this pickup specified as this, this, and not so, we remained on this point, right? Not exactly in line with a symmetrical triangulation. There were some defects noted, but it could have picked up in this zone. On different time frames, you'll find different, I'd say different different indications that we should have picked up in this zone. The breakdown from this triangulation, if we're going to look at this on the daily, is just perfectly matched, bam, bam, to the downside. So we would have liked to have primarily seen the bulls step in. Yesterday's video, if you guys know, if you paid attention, was bull calling all bulls. That was the bottom line. You needed to step in. I got to tell you guys, needed to step in. We got a large purchase from Quan, I think from Terra Labs was a large purchase of BTC, a couple $100 million worth, reportedly a couple $100 million worth. We would have liked to have seen BTC pick up in this zone. Can you give us a bull flag? This is a big breakdown. In my opinion, I would have loved to have seen a bull flag in this area. Would like to see a symmetrical triangulation push to a bull flag. And it looks like with that parallel carry down from the resistance down to the support function here, we've just capitulated beyond what would have been expected. So could it pick up? Absolutely, as you're looking at your specific target frameworks underneath. And shout out to the VIP guys. Very excited about that BAL bull flag. When I see the whole screen red, I have to tell you, when I see the entirety of the screen red, and I see you guys in the green in terms of the calls that we made in the back, this is exciting to me, guys. That's why VIP is here. So in terms of that, congrats to all the VIP who traded. If you're thinking about joining, like, well, I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, there's a trade right there, guys, and we keep bringing those to your attention. If you're not in the back, you are definitely missing out. You can join from a desktop computer, etc. We only want the traders, guys. That's what we want, the traders. Like, without a doubt, if you like to trade, that's what we want. If you want to learn to beat the market, hey, come hang out with us. Spend some time. We have some long-standing VIPs in the back. Shout out to AJ Crypto, big time, longest standing VIP member. Just epitomizes VIP, and he's an executive guy, just to let you know. I think big time executive position, reporting to board of directors, things like that. So AJ, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir, always. In terms of this line of prior resistance to support, we want to hold this. Would have loved to have held, and this was my key level here. You guys know this in terms of the price action. I wanted to hold this line, right? This was when I sent out the notice to all the bulls. We need to hold this line. Boom. Big capitulation. You guys see from that specific line. That was my key indicator. That was just my key level. Wanted to see this hold. I sent out that specific video to everybody, just letting the bulls, bulls calling all bulls, literally, because that was just a key line for me. It had to do with, yes, the reinforcement of that 200 exponential moving average in purple behind, right? Wanted to see that pick up. So to the extent that we're in kind of a free fall mode, will we catch? We don't have a good recent history in terms of catching. You guys see, right? It's been a little bit difficult in terms of catches. Once we're gone, right down to a lower level. So let's just talk about the specific. We could talk about the specific levels of pickup. We go to the candle wick low to high, the most preceding interval here. We're just about at that 38.2. Nothing has really stopped BTC once it started down previously. But that element of surprise is always out there. Those are still target levels as we would look at the preceding levels. Down to, boom, even touching down to that 86 previously. You guys see that. Let me clean this up a little bit so that you can see that. The preceding zone, right? The low to the high, range low, high. I want to shout out to Pathfinder. I want to shout out to Slim. What's up, Slim? I want to shout out to everybody in the mix. Hope you guys are doing well. Shout out to Freddie. Freddie, what's up, boss man? Hope you're having a good day every day, VIP style. I want to say that also to Angel, of course, our #1 contributor and just one of my best friends in crypto. Got to say that. Really, my best friend in crypto. Got to say that. Period. Bar none. We can't hide it. Just he's my best friend in crypto. I can't find anybody else who loves the market like he does. Bottom line, he is a champ in every sense of the word. More aggressively, if we were to look at this, invested in Bitcoin at $7.79. A lot to learn from Mr. Matos. On top, $58,000 in overall contributions, you guys know. And don't let that intimidate you. Let it inspire you. That's the bottom line, as I would look at that. Let it inspire you guys. You can have success in crypto. He is proof of that. And he's continuing to have success every year, guys. And that's our goal in VIP. In terms of the more aggressive framework that we would line up into the Fibonacci's here, let's just look at this real quickly and let's draw out the more, I say the less aggressive and the more aggressive. We're going to see one or two really very oddly patterned as we look here. We have so many crossovers here. Let's look at the crossovers. When I talk about confluence or overlap, you guys know that confluence or overlap. Let me go ahead and just shade these down a bit so you can see that confluence that I'm talking about in terms of, do you have any overlap of the specific, your options amongst the specific, let's say Fibonacci levels. As you would look at your target levels, and you guys know, buy at support, sell at resistance. trade your patterns, and hit your targets, right? We're currently on a target that is a dual overlap, essentially a confluence, right? It's a confluence that we would look at between this 38.2 and the 50% on this specific, okay, on the specific more, or I say less aggressive because we're going to have lower targets, right? It's going to bring our targets down, going to a lower level, bam, right? And then we have those more aggressive ones that we're going to lift up into, and we're going to try and target up into at a higher level. So we have bypassed the 23.6 on the less aggressive. And guys, I'll just tell you, if you trade a lot, you're going to know you're going to have multiple levels of targets. It's not a 1, 2. Let's hold our breath, count to 20 again. Bam, it's going to work every time. That's not the idea. It is not simplistic. However, it is very straightforward. And there is a designed approach to your targeting, both with a conservative and a more aggressive approach. I'll let you know. And as we look at that confluence, right, we would look at the specific 38.2 to the 50 on that more conservative and the more aggressive. That's a nice confluence right in that area. Bam. We would look at the next level down is close, right between the 50 and that golden pocket. There's probably a lot of interest at this level. On the more aggressive scoped, and you guys apply this to all your coins. I just really encourage you to apply this to all your coins. If you're into altcoins, etc., BTC kind of looks like a little bit of a shelter, right? It looks not too bad. It's been doing well in terms of holding relatively well in terms of the levels of volatility. You got a lot of volatility yesterday, without a doubt. Shout out one more time, just in case you're just joining in. Please hit that like button. We brought Balancier, BAL, to the VIP. I brought that yesterday. BAL. Look what it did, guys. It really, really decided to take off. Let's look at the hourly. You guys see a nice move to the upside. Very, very well done by the VIP, who decided to trade 20%, about a 17% move to the upside. And there is Freddie in the house. What's up, brother? I know that you saw that Balancier, and I'm glad that worked out well to the extent that anyone decided to trade. Like I said, put your specific at least your alerts on, right? Let yourself know it's up and going. You could have put a conditional order in here, period, to fill your targets to the upside. But it was a nice move overall. If we would look at from the time I brought it to VIP, etc., well over 20% move. Just nice to see a bull flag play something in the green amidst all that red yesterday, which is really tough in terms of all that red. So I was excited to be able to bring that to the VIP before breakout. Bam. Nice move to the upside. That's VIP all the time. That's why I really recommend, I really insist upon the VIP using your own TA, using the TA we have in the back. The more distractions that we get, let me say, Freddie, VIP is the place to be. What's up, Freddie? My man, nice to see you, brother. Hope everything is going well with the new digs you got during the daytime. Hope they're treating you like a champ, my man. Here you will be treated like a champ. So I'm excited to have you here. We can go over pretty much any coin. I'm just excited to feature another coin. You guys know, last 3 days has been that we featured a coin that has really gone ballistically. I say it's gone nice, right? Yesterday seemed ballistic. I mean, it's all the red. Most of the coins were down 10, some 15%, etc. Quite a bit of kickback as we look at Balancier in the green like that. It just felt ballistic. It was like, hey, we got a 17% move. I almost brought Anchor to you guys. I want to let you guys know. I looked at Anchor. I didn't like one of the time frames, so I did not bring that to you. It also went up 17 to 18%. It was literally next on my list. I was like, I just don't like one of the time frames. So I'm looking at the framework here. In terms of ball, just so you guys know right now, in terms of this, people are currently trying to discern if this is an ascending wedge. Seems like a familiar story, doesn't it? Absolutely. As we talk about ascending wedges, nobody wants to discuss them, right? It's like something we want to beat this time. Let's beat it this time. It has that effect on traders without a doubt. I think that we were the first, if not the only. I don't keep much in terms of tabs on different groups, guys. I really try not to. It's just I feel it is a waste of time. A lot of times, guys, you spend that extra time on your own TA, right? Spend that extra time on your own TA. This looks real familiar, doesn't it? Without a doubt. That was about the video from 2 days ago. Now it seems like it makes so much sense, right? I just let you guys know that 4 to 5 day push laterally here on BTC. That ascending wedge, right? We had that rising line of resistance, that constricting therewith, right? The constricting there with that rising line of resistance. We have that constricting line of support, right? In a trajectory to the upside, and that constriction is yielding in a tightly wound rising apex. That is the definition of a rising wedge, a bearish feature. So we're seeing a capitulation down from that specific pattern. You guys, if you were paying attention, you had this on the radar last couple of days. We were wanting the bulls to honestly pick up. Could we have beaten that specific rising wedge with some framework like this. Like absolutely, absolutely, we could have. We need the bulls to show up. Unfortunately, the bulls just packed up and went home for a minute here at least, right? A big deal as we would look at this. Multiple levels of prior resistance to support just broken, just completely capitulated through thus far. BTC just barely turning green on the day, holding just slightly. And it's just been that slow tug down the early hours in terms of BTC is not always timely. Neither are your other coins. Excuse me. In terms of they're not always accommodating to your schedule. I know that. That's one of the reasons we have VIP in the back, because we get to talk at each and every anything happens in the market. We have a place for people to go to and to say, hey, what's up? It's 5 a.m. or maybe it's 9 a.m. where you are, right? Or it's noon where you are. Shout out to Pathfinder. He's over in Slovenia. So his time frame's a little bit different than our time frame. So we have that international scope. Pathfinder, we appreciate having you from Slovenia, brother. You are one of the components, core components, the international that is VIP. Have some cool additional maybe emojis too, badges, some cool stuff we'll be looking at soon. Pathfinder likes to make that stuff. I want to give him all the credit on the live stream to the extent that we use some of that cool new stuff. He's trying to adjust our badges or maybe some emojis, put some cool stuff in there for you guys to look at. Now, in terms of this framework, right? We're familiar with this. Now you guys know without a doubt, right? It's like, okay, ascending wedge. Yes, you guys get it. In terms of the ability to traject up and over, yeah, it would have been nice, guys. It would have been really nice. To the extent that we had this upside level of resistance, right? That framework to the upside was just too much for the bears to really power into potentially, as we would look at this specific triangulation on the kind of on the candle wicks here in terms of that triangulation that we've looked at so frequently. You guys know we have just studied that, right? We have had plenty of time to do it. I'll say it's nice to see BTC move at least to a further area of value. Looking at that support line carry up channel formation parallel right under the trend line channel. You guys know that specific line of resistance across the top. It looks like that was just that was too much to ask of the bulls to outcompete that specific, attempt to outcompete that specific rising wedge. Just such was the day with Bitcoin. So in terms of your other trades, hope you guys are doing well. I know that Freddie had targets set below. What's up, Freddie? That is VIP, my man. Way to go, Freddie. I'm going to put this, had targets set below on coins. There we go. That's just really, really crucial to me to know that, looking for that value acquisition. And Freddie, he absolutely yesterday, just let you guys know, Freddie was the one booking trades. Freddie was the one super chatting. Freddie was the one, literally, while it's up and people want higher, Freddie booked it. Bam. That's it, right? Really, really impressive as you watch his market skills and work. It's nice to see that. I guess people are going to be paying attention when you book some trades, Freddie. That's the idea, right? Just book those trades. Hi, right? Hi. In terms of buy low is a good idea. As we look at buy the absolute low, that's the real name of the game. Just keeping an eye on balance here in terms of that framework put to the upside. Shout out to all the VIP. If you guys are not VIP, I want to encourage you to join. I know you hear that all the time because I don't know what's holding you back. If you guys want to book a trade, it's just like right here before it breaks out, bam, in the back room in a red day. Like, come on, guys. You guys want to trade. We're seeing, and I have to ask that, do you guys want to trade? In terms of this rising wedge function from the support to the resistance on balance here, we're seeing an overperformance here on this specific wedge to have the same, let's say, on BTC would have been very nice, right? Would have been extremely welcome for the bulls to the extent that we just, we capitulated. It was one of those moments where, the aggregate of I'm going to tell you guys this specific, and I've brought this up so many times, we're going to have to bring this up again, guys. In terms of the specific, as I invert the chart, we'll look at this in terms of the specifics for the run to the upside. And now this is inverted, but pay attention. It's crucial as you would look at, would you want to trade this if you were a bull and it were the properly designated in terms of a normal chart function? I know you would. Everyone would, right? So in terms of testing your specific biases, right? This would be technically, let's take this as a brand new chart. Move to the upside, downward sloping channel. And what do you guys look at? You're looking at a bull flag. Hugely important, right? You would want to trade this, I promise, right? Absolutely, everyone would want to trade this. So to the extent that we could not conquer this level, get out up and above, the entirety of the market is now looking at the bear flag. not to be inconsistent at all, right? Always, in terms of a pattern, can it conform to our expectations of the probability? Sure. Can the bulls beat it? Sure. To the extent that the bulls can't beat it, it conforms to the expectations. Well, welcome to the market. That's just it. Like, we're looking for an outperformance on this specific rising wedge. To the extent that we were unable to, I'd say, conquer that specific pattern even up and above that level, above this resistance, and that 40, that 40, as you start thinking about it, guys, it was pretty high. It was nice. It was 40, 48.5. As we look at this specific level here, that 48,000, really it would take getting up into that 48.5, near $50,000 to have beaten this rising wedge. It would have been a nice, phenomenal move. The phenomenal move was from pricing target below. You guys know this. Still very comfortable they are. Absolutely, without a doubt. Shout out to AJ Crypto. Shout out to Angel. I know Angel had a good acquisition in terms of BTC for trading purposes. Okay, not long-term acquisition, for trading. Angel owns for a lot lower, but in terms of trading, yeah, still up 30%. Not bad. A lot of leeway if you hit your low targets, guys. That's why we hit the low targets on the 4 hourly. You guys know, on the 4 hourly, my acquisition target is the low on the 4 hourly period. Not this one at the 50%. No, the low, bam, at the 4 hourly that you're going to find, I think, anywhere, guys. Very impressive in terms of that acquisition, AJ, and also to Angel. I want to just shout out to each of you and let you know that we're really appreciative of having both of you as part of our VIP. Is huge. Guys, you are the reason that I do this, okay? So, without getting sentimental, that's just the truth, guys. You're the reason I do this. I like to trade, and you guys know I like to trade as well. It's a good group. It's a tough group, and we're weathered at this point in terms of the ability to trade. The market's giving us quite a few opportunities to trade. As we look at this specific 38.2 on this, let's say from this bottom line carry up here, not the extended range. I'm going with the most immediate range function here. We're looking at this specific line right here, this pivot, this candle wick area here, the 34,352, brought up to the maximization here of 48,259, right in this area. That is the specific approach we've taken in terms of the Fibonacci's, and it's a perfect layover with this specific, this secondary function here to the top here. And as we look at this, 1 second. Okay, as we would look at this, I'd say more aggressive function or more aggressive pricing targets with the, I'd say, more conservative pricing targets. We see a nice overlay at this 38.2 in that 50. We're currently just right on that specific level, right in this level. So BTC has tried to pick up. We tried to accomplish, this was the best case scenario. I just want to say this. The best case scenario would have been a pickup. As we look at the parallel function tool, again, the parallel channel tool is just a big deal for me, guys. You have to know that it is a big deal in the market as well. As we look at this line of resistance carried down, bam. We really wanted to hold this specific level. We wanted to have a parallel channel to the downside to be able to come back. This would have been incredible, guys. It would have been just awesome. Pay attention to this specifically, right? It would have been great to have had a bull flag, a really well-structured bull flag. Could it recoup still? Yes. Let's see what we get on this 38 to the 50% here. Always with orders below at lower levels. You guys know that. There are orders stacked down here. You guys have to understand the entirety of the BTC market. Billions and billions and billions every day traded. There are tons of orders down in here, just so you know. And you say, well, will they get touched or not? Guys, the fact is they are there. Will you join them there, or will you stick here, let's say, full throttle position, or do you want to trade and essentially maximize your lower level participation and value? That's just it. The maxis, the all-in approach, typically get burned. You guys know that. And shout out to Angel. He was letting people know previously. It's like, in terms of your exposure, I remember that last week, Angel saying, he's like, do you have 10 times that amount to cover your trade? I thought it was great, really great. Really great, to the extent that you might want like 20 times the amount that you're in a specific trade to cover your position, right? It doesn't mean you can't make any money, guys. I'm going to tell you guys that. We trade on a lot on leverage, etc., leverage coins, everything. So to the extent that you're still able to capture a profit, that's the truth. That's not even a guesswork anymore when you're working on leverage like that. It's just really crucial. We're seeing a little bit of differentiation between the 4 hourly and the 1 hourly. 1 hourly is well within the line already. This prior resistance to the I just can't believe bulls couldn't handle this, guys. I just can't believe. I have to tell you guys, with Quan of Terra, etc., going in 200 million in terms of the framework here, in terms of putting orders in for BTC at a large level, I can't believe there wasn't more public participation with Quan and with Terra. I just really would have liked to have seen that in terms of the bulls picking up. And was the pattern just the pattern framework just too much for the market? Possibly. Was the rising wedge just too well indicated? I'm not going to. What we can say is it is what it is. As much as I wanted to beat the specific rising wedge, and see, it starts to get into a framework. You're like, well, where was the wedge? You get into that in terms of the I'd say what all was kind of carved out. We really had maybe a variable wedge from this zone. I would say primarily from here. Let's go to the 4 hourly. But it does become that way. You look back at it like, what happened again? So it's important when we release those videos to you, right? If we release those videos to you and we're right on with the technicals, we can always say back, look back and say, yes, that was the framework that things were put into, right? And the time frames may adjust your specific patterning quite a bit, actually, as you look at the candle wick versus the actual line, okay? So in terms of this rising wedge, the support line feature, right, that we pushed into with that 4 to 5 day march laterally, okay, with that level along the top, that level of resistance, just a rising wedge, okay, multiple hits on the resistance, multiple hits along the line of support, and that 4 to 5 day march. I also noted this to VIP last night, and we'll just shout out to all the VIP. Hope you guys are doing well, base campers, etc. Hope you're doing well. If you guys want to book a trade in base camp, guys, you need to upgrade. I'm gonna tell you guys that, period. I'm gonna look at this in terms of BAL. Brought this last night to VIP, trying to point out a bull flag amidst all the problems, and bam, BAL went up 17%, right up to 20% on that specific bull flag. Amidst the red, guys, it was one of the ones. Yeah, I looked through 200 plus coins to figure out a nice trade for VIP. So, and VIP know that I do that. I want to win. That's the bottom line. People are like, oh, well, thank you for the work. I want to win, guys. You don't need to thank me. I want to win. I want to be the #1 group. That's it. That's why I bring those trades to our VIP. It's competitive. It's a competitive market. I don't expect anyone or any group or any market to lay over for us. We don't want any handouts. We don't want any favors from anybody. We want to beat the market, bottom line. So I've spent a lot of time directed towards that mission that I might have just in terms of helping our VIP. I want us all to beat the market. That's the idea. I want us to be a successful group. That's why I spend that time. So I know you guys are spending a lot of time on your technicals as well. Those charts from Pathfinder, from Freddie, from Slim are fantastic. Craig, we're looking for a few post-its in the back. What do you got going on? We'd like to know what you're currently trading. What is going on? Looking at BTC, where's it at on the daily? Just down about 0.27%. Will be nice to see some kind of interaction here. Except, let's say this to fight this notion that we may just be in a full-blown catapult to the downside. Each time that we've gone up in this region, we have wanted to kind of capitulate a little bit more than I'd say was comfortable for the longs, right? We don't want this to be a nail biter per se. That is in the DNA. The DNA, guys, recently is that specified capitulation, right? Once we get into the downward trend, it wants to capitulate. So you guys know that heavy reserve capital is crucial. So I'm trying to look and see if we have any other additional trend lines which could pick up here on BTC. We'll go through details. We can almost start to line this out, which is interesting, right? This is an interesting framework. We had pulled this up a few days ago, and I said I'd like to see more patterning for this to occur. This would be one monster mamma jamma triangulation at this point, guys. Look at this in terms of the potential that this is going to be a very difficult triangulation if the market chooses to push into this much of an extended triangulation. We have to consider such right now. Let me go to the daily and see how this kind of feels in terms of that daily price action. Let's take a look, guys. This is a big pattern. I say a big pattern because potentially it means more time, right? But we do like bigger patterns. The bigger the pattern, the bigger the expected move, typically, right? So we're not unfamiliar. Again, I'm just gonna cover this again. We're not unfamiliar to large retracements, right? It's in our DNA by now. You guys know that as well. Shout out to Angel, because I know Angel is like, this is not a long retracement. 2 or 3 years is a long retracement, so we appreciate that. Just knowledge and wisdom that you can bring to the group each and every time. Angel, when you're around, I know that you are busy. I tell everybody, when Angel's busy, he's busy. That's just it. When he's busy, he's busy. So I know that he's tied up a little bit. I shouted out a few texts to him earlier today, and I know we got those, some fun videos, etc. Now, looking at this framework, Let's take this channel formation away. Let's look at that. Although it is just really, really solidly put into even the daily now as we look at the new transitionary patterning that is ongoing right now to really fit in the framework here. This is a really solid channel that people are going to look back on and say, I wish I would have played a part in some of these range trades, right? If we look at this specific parallel channel, let me look at this. Let's do this, okay? In terms of that channel formation, you see that specific channel formation. Just general hits, I'd say general along this top line resistance here. As we go to the candlewicks, it just couldn't be much better, guys. Multiple hits along that top, right? And multiple hits along the bottom support. Hugely indicative of a nice swing trade zone. So the traders are having a blast right now in terms of swing trading BTC. You guys got to know the desks are just full, right? In terms of always say in terms of like the street, in terms of institutional framework, like they're on this, right? It was a nice place to call a little bit of an alarm up along the top of this resistance. Shout out to Torque, no Torque. I know that he released his position there, very nicely done in line with that resistance. And yeah, in terms of this specified rising wedge, and I have to say, guys, it was kind of interesting. I had a meeting. I called it a meeting. This was not a meeting. It was not a meeting at all. I was going to smoke some cigars the other day, yesterday, in fact. And buddy of mine, he's got he's got some bucks, decent position, more than decent position in terms of BTC. And I asked him. He was listening. Just listen to this, guys. He was listening to a YouTube station. All this different stuff. I don't know what it was. It was like crypto power or something. I was like, okay, that's good. The guy's got he's got money to burn if he wants to, right? But there's no need to. Period. Right? There's no need to. But he was talking about it, and I just heard the jibber jabber on the screen. I don't know who it is, right? And he's like, so how's Bitcoin? What do you think Bitcoin's going to do? He's like, and I said, well, what do you think? I wanted to hear what he just said, what he just heard on his station, and everything else like that, because I don't pay attention to those guys. That's not my deal. And he says, well, it's going to 50,000. He's got a big position, right? So he's got enough, off the cuff attitude as well. It's probably something along the lines. I really think it's going to push up to 50,000. It's going to be going up to 50,000 next week. I'm like, okay. Rolls Royce, this and that, everything great. Good guy. Got to say, good guy. And could it still make it there? Sure. But in terms of that, he says, what do you think? I said, well, I don't know. I think you should keep listening to your radio station there. It sounds like he's YouTube. Keep listening to those guys. They know exactly what's going on. I said, by the way, you might want to look into the fact we're in a rising wedge. And he just kind of looked at me and everything else. And that's all I told him is, by the way, you might want to look at the fact we're in a rising wedge. That was yesterday. Guy with like a, 6-7 figure position, like a big healthy position, guys, at BTC. And he's just, I don't know who they're paying attention to or what they're doing. But I was like, yeah, by the way, you might want to, check out what a rising wedge is, and I didn't mean that to be insulting or anything bad to him. But, to the extent that you're not prepared for, at least. Now, the wedge could have played to the upside, etc. It could have, but we were just, absolutely just, hammered into this line of line of support. You guys know that 4 to 5 day push really pushed that line of support on certain time frames. We were like out of that line of support. You guys know that on certain time frames that was over, right? So in terms of a confirmation attempt to get back up and over to that line of support, depending upon your time frame and your drawing of that line of support, it's just a little bit crucial, guys. So, and I just bring that up because I appreciate the technicals that you guys do. I would prefer to listen to your technicals and the application of fundamentals and technical analysis like 10 days a week. You're not selling anything, right? Our back rooms, they prove themselves in terms of like, no one can take this away from us. Yesterday, bam, Balancier, right? Me bringing this to you before breakout on that bull flag, which played, right? 25% indicated in terms of the overall. I think it was about a 20% move, and I can look at that again on the candlewick, see exactly where it went. But those are the types of trades every day. We've had the last 3 days. You guys know this. Last 3 days, we have shown up on Livestream. We've had slam dunks. Like we've had a slam dunk, right? May have been a few off the backboard, slightly off the rim. A few different ones decided not to trade or otherwise. But in terms of opportunities to slam dunk it, yeah, you have that ball yesterday, Balancier. What was it? Cello. You had Balancer, Cello. You had Doge. You had within. That's just this week, guys. And it's what day is it? It's Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, we're competitive like that. I like to bring you guys the best in terms of TA, and you guys have had your own your own. I mean, you guys brought Cello to me. I cut the video on it about a week after you guys brought it up. But yeah, and it just happened to go that next day after I cut the video to you guys in the back in the restricted zone, the VIP restricted zone back there. But we have to say, guys, that's phenomenal, right? To bring information and bam, bring information, bam. Bring information, bam. So excited for anyone who's booking trades. If this bit you a bit, don't worry about it, guys. If it bit you a little bit, I just want to let you guys know. Are you learning and I would say this, what specific lessons is the market teaching you right now? Are you hitting targets right now? Are you watching? Were you holding and now you're watching? Are you hitting targets at lower levels? Are you compounding in? Are you scheduling in line with a really phenomenal channel framework here in terms of trading, the opportunity for swing trading, on the support, on the resistance? Are you in the framework of trading? So we're going to be watching, additionally, guys, some of the mainstay coins in the back, which would be Doge, which would be Luna, which would be DOT. We pay attention to DOT, FXS, Gala. We like was Sheeb, right? From Mana to Sand to Near has done well. Qtum, I think someone brought up QNT or QNT last night. And you'll just see my specific watch list is growing big time. I'm in the process of adding in each and every ETF coin. That's how I found Balancier, BAL, last night in terms of that nice bull flag. The patterns are there if you find them, right? And not that all of them need to play, but maybe you need to find two of them, right? Maybe you need to find two or three, see which one of those two or three may play. That's kind of the idea. So a big breakdown from the expectations in terms of BTC. Could we somehow, I say, yield a recovery here would be nice. Is there any other framework that we're currently at in terms of a real strong position that we would like to? I'm trying to draw just any kind of a cross trend line, etc., that could really put us in the framework of being in solid territory. I'd say negative Ghost Rider, right? The pattern is full, right? In terms of this specific line as well, this was a key threshold that I would have liked to have held. This specific line of support to resistance, crucial. Like when I spoke of the top line in terms of that daily time frame, that specific top line was really the most crucial, because then thereafter it could become like a game of dominoes, right? This specific top line was as aggressive as we could get in terms of holding that resistance to support. I wanted to go up. That was the idea. I didn't want to play this kind of the domino game. I didn't want to get into that. You guys know that. That was not the name of the game. We wanted to maintain price above using as support and buyers to continue to come in. So to the extent that we don't have that, is it the Fed? Is it the issue with the interest rates? Is it the, I don't know. It just seems like with the inflation news that to the extent that that's turning people, I'd say, away from risk on investments, right, in terms of risky investments, and that BTC is considered a risky investment, it just still doesn't solve the problem that BTC solves in terms of inflation. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out in the wash, but a little bit, I don't know, a little bit of a confounded in terms of how, the institutions continue to, and you guys listen up, how the institutions like Schwab just started off with, I think it was Schwab, was it Goldman Sachs, I think yesterday? I'll check up on the source, talking about their institutional framework, their clients now looking, their new wealth clients looking to BTC as a hedge against inflation. So as I read that news and I continue to see prices, kind of lackluster pricing, it's a big deal for me. The ideal here would be for the orders at the 38.2 and the 50 to rebound into this specific channel framework for us to have a messy flag towards the upside. That would be ideal. We would love to see that. We are down below some key levels right now. For anyone who's managing a larger cash position on a compounded down basis, you're comfortable with that specific move, right? With some exposure to the upside, always ready to participate to the upside, but ready to compound down at those lower levels. That's the name of the game, right? And this or any other level would be covered there and below. You could either cover it with, a flat Tether or USD position, right? Or you could cover it with some leverage as well. There's all different types of ways to cover your downside position, right? If you're just operating on spot, the game becomes a little bit more challenging. To the extent that you don't understand anything beyond a spot trade, what's a spot trade? That's me going in. I want to buy half a Bitcoin at 43,207. That's it. Bam! I hit the button on the screen, and I have a market order, or I choose, let's say, a limit order or a market order, and it's fulfilled. That's a spot trade. Okay. Anything that is non-spot, we would just typically you could trade, leverage on spot as well. It gets a little confusing, guys, in terms of these 3L, 5L, 3S, 5S coins, staying out of the realm of futures for now. In terms of that, we have we have the complication of people not understanding necessarily what a 3L or 5L or 3S or 5S is. 3 long, 5 long, meaning you're counting on it to go up. Long, right? Short, meaning you're counting on it to go down. You get rewarded if the price goes down, right? So scheduling into like 3L, 5L can be a cover solution if you're looking at the specifics in terms of covering your upside position with the framework of even more leverage, right? And I'll just say a spot position is the easiest position to trade, right? Just it's easy stuff, guys. As you would just trade normally. That's typically on spot. You don't have to get into derivatives, ETFs, etc., futures markets if you just choose not to. The market's not going to require you to do that. Okay, I promise. It's just not going to require you to do that. Depending upon what desk you would sit at, right? Maybe you have a job where you have to do that. I can't promise that to you. We've had some former professionals, BlackRock, JP Morgan, etc., in our group, and it's just each has his own story to tell, but it's just not that complicated, guys, in terms of the overall entirety of it. If you're looking towards learning, don't wait till next month to start really learning. I want to learn, but next month I would really want to start learning, because you can cost yourself a ton in between now and then, just in terms of the opportunity to learn, right? Today is for the taking. Go ahead and start learning today. Get plugged in to the right group, and let's see what we got in terms of this expanded framework here. Now we can actually, I say now we can, look at this daily real quickly. Let's look at this daily chart again. Let me see what we have. Just the channel, this channel framework just keeps just reigniting itself in terms of the actual visuals here. It is now included, guys. Yeah, now we have this resistance to resistance. It wasn't before. You guys know that. I was letting you guys know beforehand. This line of support to the resistance function, that cross trend line in this area, yeah, this area was not included before. The market right now is taking a good look at the inclusion of both of these pivots to include a top line, just a really monstrous, let me say monstrous triangulation that is in the works. So that is on the table, guys. That's quite a pattern. I don't know what you guys say about that, but that's quite a pattern. If you guys trade a lot, in terms of the projection, just looking at the framework here of 2020, 21 up through 22, right? Looking at that, that's a pretty monster framework to put BTC into. The time expectations, I'm just going to go ahead and count the time right now, because it is what we're looking at, and we need to discuss it. I want you guys to know the altcoins could be a lot of fun during this time frame. 85 days. Potentially 85 days. If you would look at this in terms of the completion right now to the end of this, and everybody's like, you got to be kidding me, right? You know how many trades you could have on these altcoins? We just have like one a day that wants to just rear up and do really well. So this could just be like Christmas. This could be a great deal. I'm not gonna go on the record as saying that, but it could be really nice. Not to replace Christmas, guys. I like Christmas a lot, but it could be. And if you have a new great trade, or 10, 20 trades a day, right, that you could pick from, that's going to be nice in some additional, if we get to have some additional framework of I'd say just expectations in the framework of what we are looking at. So we would like to see, I keep drawing this line as the cross trend line. It would have been really nice to see even a pickup in this zone. The fact that we didn't formulate a bull flag in here, it's going to take me a little bit of time to get over that. I really wanted to see the battle. This was going to be it, guys. The battle as we looked into the framework, and appreciate this from a trading perspective. You guys will definitely appreciate this. Looking at that parallel channel function. Where is this parallel channel? Under the trend line, go to the parallel channel. Yes, this specific parallel channel function. What I wanted to say, I was just really looking forward to this specific, as I called it, a battle. Just pay attention as to why. Let me get rid of these Fibonacci's for a moment. You guys know those pattern, those pre-calculated targets are below. But what I wanted to see was this. I wanted to really see, in terms of the dynamics for 2022, I was looking forward to seeing this specific line of resistance across the top. And let's go to the candle wicks for this one, because you guys will appreciate this. In terms of the technicals, that this includes, excuse me, just really solid technicals. As we would look at this in terms of the line of resistance across the top, you guys know this. What I wanted to see was this. We had this channel line formation, essentially the body of the bear flag. It just is, guys. Now, in terms of beating a bear flag, a lot of bear flags get beaten by different mechanisms, means, etc. So when we would look at, let me do this real quickly. Let me see this. 1 second. Let me draw this. Okay, that is an interesting line for me. That is an interesting line. Okay, just another cross trend line, resistance to resistance. That's a broader scope level of resistance. That's an interesting line that is coming up. Okay, we'll have to measure whether or not that. Let me remind myself. Let me darken this up just a second. I want to make sure I talk about that specific line as it presents itself to me. And let me just go a little bit in the background. Let me do that and lock that for a minute. There we go. In terms of the and if you guys are new, you know, not financial advice, former financial professional, period, not financial advice. You guys know that. In terms of the technicals, we try and apply it to crypto as best as possible, and even better if and when can be the case. Looking at the specified framework, what I wanted to see was this top line resistance, this bottom line support, right? And I wanted to see a battle between this specific level and a bull flag set up to challenge this line of resistance. You guys see, now could it still happen? Sure. We capitulated beyond that level of expectation along the bottom. If we go to the candle wicks, we capitulated beyond that level of expectation outside of that channel to the extent that we would allow some variability. If this can pick up and formulate a nice bull flag, that would be beautiful. And the challenge I wanted to see, that battle between the bulls and the bears, what I wanted to see was this, guys. I wanted to see this bull flag, bam, nice move to the upside. Each one of these moves to the upside. Like if you look at this preceding zone here, it's like it just felt like it kind of got wasted, right, with the capitulation. So I didn't want to see another pattern just capitulate to the bottom here. I wanted to see bulls pick up and give this line a real run. That line of resistance a real run. It would have been just literal, excuse me, bulls versus a bearish function in terms of that bear flag, because that would have been a part of looking at this and inverting the scale again. That would really be a part of the specific bear flag that we're looking at on the inverted scale. You guys see that? So really what I was hoping for would be this just colossal, this great look at a bear flag inverted, of course, right? It's just a bull flag inverted. Same concepts, guys. And looking at that to see a bull flag battling to conquer the bear flag. You see that? So I was really looking forward to that just in terms of the dynamics. I thought the bulls would give it to us, and we just didn't get it. So I mean, to the extent that we could pick up on the specified, and I'm not being wishy-washy at all. That's the last thing in the world I would want to be with you guys or anybody else, right? If the demand is there, and like with Terra, we knew Terra was going to be buying. To the extent that we're in kind of an impact zone from a large purchase of like 200 million, I discussed with you guys a few days ago in terms of the market dynamics, pretty much built to assure that no one can make a large purchase in the market, in any market, guys. It should be a profound feature of the market that no one can just make a purchase in a market to push price up himself and sell at a higher price. You guys understand that? So to the extent that we got some downward price action, I think that's noted in terms of Quan's $200 million entry, right? Very interesting. Now you look at Luna in terms of their $200 million entry in here, Terra, right? Backing, hey, they're going to be one of the largest Bitcoin holders. I think it makes a lot of sense. I really like the idea. It's interesting. Let me say it's interesting. Okay, there may be some pitfalls to it, but I don't know. I think they're on an interesting track. I'll say that in terms of the. I won't get into necessarily what I think about it. How about I reserve my opinion? But it's a strong move. It is a strong move in terms of BTC and acquisition, in terms of counting the level of acquisition. Let's say that. I would agree with that without a doubt. Don't want to couch too much in terms of that, but I don't know all the details of the Terra move. Bottom line, I know that Terra is a bit has a tendency to get on the radar. They have to get on the radar and they have to get off the radar in terms of things being backed technically, not technically, etc. So I'd like to see them permanently off the radar in whatever strategy they choose. Let me say that. That's as well put as I can say. So looking at that framework, when they decided, when Luna Chief Boss puts in 200 million, bam, to the downside. Just recall that I stated when someone puts in a large purchase into the and you may feel like this happens to you all the time. Angel, I know this happens from not only just time to time, but sometime with frequency. When you put a large order in, boom, you get a capitulation in price. The market is structured such that you should not be able to put in a large order to push price up to thereafter capitalize on that order. Okay, to capitalize on the rise in price that you have generated through the purchase of whatever, if it's a commodity coin or if it's a equity, etc. Right? It just makes sense. you would have people everywhere just deciding tomorrow I'm going to put my $200 million into the market, and then I'm going to make my 10, 15, 20%, and I'll take it out as soon as I make my 5, 10, or 15% on that move. That's not how the market works. So while it may seem counterintuitive, you would have people all over the world with $200 million saying, well, tomorrow I'm going to put, we'll all do that tomorrow. We'll all put in our $200 million. We'll all catch our 5, 10, 15% on $200 million. We'll all make our, X number of millions of dollars, and then we'll continue. We'll just retract it from the market. That's not how markets work. Right, so that we've seen some downward pressure. I don't want to say it's anyone's fault for buying. It's just the dynamic that we see in the market. Now, the market also, if it feels like that's punishing to you because you didn't buy, you weren't the one that bought, etc., just understand it could have hit some features in terms of being overbought, right? It could have triggered some functions therein, but it is a protective mechanism of the market. It does occur. You'll see a lot of people like Saylor or even Elon, etc., that don't immediately get a huge reward on their investment. It's not built to reward huge in institutional level investments immediately. It requires time, right? Assimilation I say the market, the surrounding market conditions to reinforce that position. Also with El Salvador, you're seeing that they will enter in. You'll see some negative price action, right? Just very interesting to talk about that dynamic. It's not to some extent it is a market component, right? So in terms of this specific line of resistance to support, that would be an interesting line that's relatively well streamlined with this 50% to the golden pocket. That 41.5 would be an interesting area. In terms of another overlap, we're getting a little bit of positive price action right now. It's good to see a little bit of green on the map. 0.19, 0.17%, looking at the entirety of the ETF market, at least what I have right now. Mina is doing well. BSW is doing well. Let's see, Aave moving just a bit, Ape and AGLD. Let's see what we have in terms of ETC. We're back down to the 2s and 1s. So in terms of that, a little bit, let's see Mina real quickly. Yeah, Mina's popping pretty good. That's not a bad move for Mina. Nice to see Mina take off. The guys in the back figured that one out early. Shout out to Slim and to Path, etc. And just finding a lot of coins that are about to pop. That's kind of what we do in the back. We have a lot of fun doing that. So let's see what we got, guys. In terms of the entirety of this, I wanted to bring an emergency session because essentially right now we're on that 100 exponential moving average on the daily. That needs to hold, okay? That is part of the definition here. And as we look back, we can get a little bit detailed on this 200 and 100 precedingly, right? We did capitulate down and be under both the 200 and 100 prior heretofore. And still maintain an uptrend. We also did maintain an uptrend and really reinforce that 200 exponential after capitulating the 100, and we were still there and below a bit. We had some nice pattern framework, nice Elliott wave function, also bull flag in the mix in this preceding area. You guys know that. So to the extent that this is just a retest, a natural retest, I want to let you know it's on a Fibonacci. All right, what's below the Fibonacci? More Fibonacci's, right? It's on a target, and what is below that target? More targets. I'm going to tell you guys that, and we'll sing that song all day long. I just have to tell you guys that continually in that framework from this level in here. In terms of that double top feature, 38.2 struck on that real strong day to the downside, then into the 50%, right? So, always ready to participate at the lower levels. If you're not ready to participate at the lower levels and we achieve lower levels, it's not a cop out. It's not an excuse this way or that way. It's the market, guys. You have to be able to participate at those lower levels. That is the key name of the game. Buy it, support, sell it, resistance, right? We're coming up on an interesting line of resistance to potential support on the candle wick framework. That's on the lowest time frame possible. On the daily, it would be on down and through this next level. Kind of an interesting dynamic to look at in terms of these features, as they would represent a prior level of resistance to potential support at that lower level. Those would be levels we would want to hold, undoubtedly. As you would look at those particulars, we also have this specific level in here which we are below, and I will make that line a little bit I don't know, we will highlight that specific line that we wanted to be within, like up and above. I'd say we don't want to be within. We would like to be up and above prior resistance to support, essentially. So looking at the framework of the bull flag, can it save? I don't know. I keep looking at, guys, I have to tell you, Doge has been a pretty good precursor in the market, believe it or not, because it had a lot of price action. Any coin with a lot of price action could have been. Okay, but Doge just failed a really tough attempt at a bull flag. You guys know that. But great price action, and I have to show this to everybody in terms of the price action. As you would look at Doge, I did send this earlier on, and I thought this was really funny, guys. And I can't show it here. Dang it, I cannot show it here. That's bad. It was a YouTube. It's just a dog jumping up and down the street. Literally just, I mean, every 2 steps, it's just taking a hop, it's jumping. I mean, there's price action on Doge. There's price action on all your altcoins. In terms of, you know, the exact launch position, and that's it. You want the launch codes, the nuclear launch codes for each and every coin. That's not what it's about. It's about the strategy to deploy at those recognized target levels, which a lot of the participants in the market don't know about. I'd say, you know, the basic retail trader is not going to know about Fibonacci's. So to that extent, you're a leg up. You know about the golden pocket. You know about, you know, bullish. We would hope the 38.2 would pick up. Just to let you know, if we're in a bullish sequence here, we would hope this 38.2 picks up. Right? We're at that 38.2. We would expect this in a bullish market, aside from a capitulation, aside from this specific line of prior resistance failing that support. I just let you know, in a bullish market, we would expect that 38.2 to pick up. You guys know that. So calling all the bulls along the top, that was definitely the notion, right? Just pick up within the framework here, give us, and you know, we had this nice, this specific nice pattern framework to expect a bull flag to develop, right, out of, you know, out of this specific I'd say off this specific prior resistance to the support line function. Within I say some degree of reason, if we wanted to pull this down below into this level, I mean, I'm willing to give it some you know, I say some what do we say, guys? I would give it some latitude in terms of wanting to formulate that specific mode to the upside. It's just the ones with orders at 38.2, if and when we get a bit of a pump back to the upside, they're the ones that are going to be able to tell that story that, yes, I got involved in this bull flag. That may not be as important to you. You may literally say, well, okay, great, London, that's cool. I'm going to wait for the bull flag, and then I'm going to trade the bull flag. No problem. Easy stuff, right? That is up to you. As we look at the pattern formation right now in dynamic, we don't have a clear pattern right now to necessarily trade. We just don't. It's not in the framework in terms of a breakdown, more like prior resistance down within this. Can we rescue and get back above? That would be nice. To the extent that we'll be keeping an eye on any formation of a bull flag on this and other coins, without a doubt. You guys know I'll be doing that in the back. And shout out to VIP. Appreciate you guys in terms of your just kind of your overall approach to TA. I love when I see the charts from Pathfinder, from Freddie, from Slim, without a doubt. Slim, some of your charts are the best in the back. Love them. They're very cool, brother, in all honesty. Just looking at this specific level, I just, you know, we had this level across the top I wanted to hold. Now it's like I really don't like the fact that we have capitulated beyond this level. We've already set below it. It's just a frustrating. You know, it's like we needed to hold support. We didn't. Looking at that daily one more time, it's just that's the bottom line here. It's just the bulls did not accomplish, right? They did not show up in mass to continue BTC in the market to propel to the upside. So we're seeing some green on the screen amidst a bit of red. And looking at this framework, I think really best on the daily is the notion that this 100 moving average just needs to get a bit of traction, guys. In terms of the indicators, we can go through some of the indicators. This specified daily MACD was a bit in question. I brought that up to the back. I say it shows some contradictions, particularly on the weekly. As you look at the weekly, right? Weekly shows us going up into positive territory. You'll just see this. It would be unheard of for us to lose this on the weekly, but you'll just see the weekly is maybe not perfectly as expressive as what we would always want it to be, right? We had a big 25% drop in this zone precedingly while it was showing an up pattern. So that's enough to wash anyone out of their leverage position. You have to be a little bit more detailed than the weekly. According to the weekly, we're just heading up. We're doing quite well, right? But on the daily, looking at the daily, you'll see that contradiction in terms of the momentum, just that eclipsing momentum. And I brought that up to VIP. We discussed that in terms of the need for, you know, these big blue waves. We need that we need some real momentum here. We need the buyers to really engage, bam, and push to the upside as in these preceding frameworks that are really well put together, right? We really needed to get up and out. We just have a kind of a micro, I'd say a micro momentum wave. Really, it's just it's one of those smaller features that we just want to see positive price action. So to that extent, put things in perspective. Look at that daily momentum. It's something we did discuss. It's it is that more focused time frame as opposed to that weekly. Weekly showing pretty nice action. I'll say that in terms of the momentum shift from that negative to positive, it looks like it is indicated on that weekly time frame. That's a long time frame though. You're looking at potentially a month till we really roll positive. So that's that's potentially good news. I'll say good news for you guys. It looks like it is projected to roll positively. Could it double dip? Sure, right? It's not what we would want to discuss. It has double dipped before, okay, in specific preceding retracements, but it's we seem like we're in a different framework. To the extent that we're seeing some oddities with inflation soaring and Bitcoin kind of I don't know, not just flying to the roof. To the extent that that's off balance sheet with the Fed discussion. I don't know, guys. Is it? I don't know. The Fed, clearing its sheets, 90, what not percentage? I'll go through. I can go through those details later, depending upon what sector they may be shedding their balance sheet. But yeah, that's just. It is what it is. It's an inflationary hedge, and for it to be struggling at all in price, in the value zone, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So, it's to the extent it's a riskier inflationary hedge. I could see the argument. I could see the argument with the oscillation with the prior differential in terms of price. This 50% down, sometimes 65% down. The retracement. It's volatile. It's a volatile beast. That's why we like to trade it, without a doubt, right? That's just why we're here. We are here to trade and take advantage of these big moves to the downside and to the upside. So to the extent that you guys were able to this one, then what do we say? We'll just say next, right? That's the easy one in terms of, well, I didn't hit this trade, London. No, it's not good. Well, next, real easy. The solution to that is next, right? Real easy stuff. So we are looking at a bear flag. Got to tell you guys, it is right in the framework again with Fibonacci's. Okay, so with Fibonacci's to go with the description, right, with targets in between the completions. So we needed bulls to step in here. Did they? No. We were in a rising wedge. Just to recap this one more time, if you guys just kind of tuned in, and just to go through this again for everybody, that rising wedge, definitely. We discussed that a few days ago. We just see, and I often say noted. That's noted, right, in terms of the effect of the rising wedge. And we had just blistered through a rising wedge in this area. We just literally completed one of the upside, just bam. So maybe the macro feature, the wedge, was too big for people to ignore. I'll just say this, that I'm disappointed the bulls didn't show up. But if you were on the sidelines, I happen to be on the sidelines for this move. It was a good thing with targets below. Bam. That's the idea, right? So in terms of your own trade framework, I know the VIP were not overexposed. I know that you have targets below, and I appreciate you guys being VIP. That's what we're all about. So we will identify, I don't know, maybe the next good coin you guys want to bring me. I brought you guys BAL last night, so maybe the VIP get busy in the back, and you let me know what looks good to you tomorrow, and I can feature that. In terms of like Cello, you guys brought to me. I featured it about a week after you brought to me. That next day, bam, it went up like 100% on the 3L. Huge, right? I think Ball was like 75% today on the 3L. So yeah, nice framework to work with, nice teamwork, and I appreciate you guys being here. Let's see. And just what I'll say, guys, is it's been a pleasure to stream for just a bit, get into the details. And if you'd like to join our VIP group, you are welcome to. We would welcome to have. We would be welcoming to you guys, no matter who you are. If you buy, sell, trade, whatever you guys do in terms of the market, if you want to beat the market, okay. If it's beating you, guys, our one qualification is that you want to beat the market. That is our steadfast rule with the VIP. Freddie, I want to shout out to you, brother. I want to say thank you. You are front and center, and you're the guy doing well. Imagine that, Freddie. You're the guy front and center, and you're the guy doing well. Difficult formula, huh? A real difficult formula.